On today's show, we will be discussing the very difficult topic of abortion. And later, we will have Cindy Mansberger of Crossroads Pregnancy Center join us to help us better understand some of these things when it comes to this topic. Before we get into today's question, I want to share something with y'all. I was just part of a conference called Illuminate. The point was to be authentic with your story. Tell others who your God is. Have those conversations with those in the workplace, those in your family, and even those you may meet in the grocery store. Let your light shine and help others connect to the source, Jesus Christ. Those who are watching today, if you have a relationship with Christ, you have a duty to share with others who He is, His power, His goodness, and how much He loves His people. And how do we do that? By simply sharing our story. How did God meet you where you were? What has He done in your life? What did He bring you through? It's your story, so who could possibly share it better than you? I know sometimes we can let fear set in, like, what if they don't accept it? What if I say it wrong? What if they ask me something that I just don't have the answer to? You see, the enemy wants to keep you from sharing your story because he understands what it can do for people. Do you understand what it can do? We must fight against these insecurities and understand how our story could help someone realize that yes, they are loved and that God does restore and God desires to bring wholeness. All you have to be is real with people. You see, people just want real, not perfect, not people with all the answers, just real. Believe that there is value to your story, and it's time to share your story of God's redeeming love. Illuminate, shine, and be a voice for people, the voice that they are longing for. It's not okay for us to keep what we know to ourselves any longer. Mark 16:15 tells us to go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation. Are we doing what we've been commanded to do? When we come back, we will get into the question for today. Just 3 women with big opinions, always backed up with a biblical standpoint. So hey, let's talk about it.
Impact Productions, a multi-layer technology company providing on-site, online, and in-studio video services. Contact Impact Productions to capture your story.
Welcome back. Today we're going to dig into one of those hard questions, and we're going to talk about abortion. Now, we won't get into everything, and we'll probably have to do another show about it, but we'll hit some of the important topics today. Before we begin, ladies, I just wanted to give a couple little facts that I looked up. Now, the most recent information is from 2020, so it's a little bit old, but 930,160 abortions were done in 2020. And 86% of all these abortions were unmarried women in their 20s. About only 0.2% of all abortions are under the age of 15, and 0.5% are victims of rape, so or less than that. 3% are fetal problems, 23% are because they can't afford the baby, and 25% because they're not ready for children. So we see that the biggest number really is that, because I know some people focus on, well, some of the smaller issues that, not that we shouldn't bring those up, but really the biggest percent is just people not being able to afford and not ready for it. So I just wanted to put that out for our viewers. So when we talk about abortion, you know, I had an exchange student live with me for a little bit, and the one time we were out to eat, she said, Kelly, why do Christians hate people that have had an abortion or who are gay, live that lifestyle? And she thought for real that that's how Christians felt. And it made me sad to think that that's what she felt. And I want us today to show a different side of that. So Arlene, talk to me a little bit about your feelings when it comes to abortion.
In 1992, I got a phone call. A friend of mine said, there is a young woman in her 20s. She has a 6-month-old, she's pregnant, and her boyfriend wants her to have an abortion. And his mother, who they were living with, was going to take her. And John and I talked about it, and we prayed about it, and we said, if coming to live with us would keep her from having an abortion, we want her to come live with us. That night, sight unseen, we had never met her. She moved into our home. And she lived with us for almost a year. I was there when the baby was born. Now, there were a lot of circumstances surrounding. I wish I had had more support in that time, but we definitely made the right decision. My personal opinion is I made a bigger difference that night than I would if I am out in front of an abortion clinic protesting.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I totally agree with that.
Yes. And I feel that it gives Christians a bad name when we're doing evil things.
Yes.
For a good reason.
Right.
In the name of Jesus and making us look terrible.
Yeah.
Yes.
And more than that, I just want to love somebody. That's all
Yes.
I really want to do.
Yes.
If you are thinking about it, come to me. I will love you. I will give you
Yeah,
options.
That's right.
If you've already done it and you feel terrible, come to me.
That's right.
Because I am no judgment zone.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've never walked a mile I've never felt that way.
Yeah.
I've never had the need to ever feel that way. But far be it from me to try to condemn someone who has felt so trapped they had no way out but
That's
to
right.
do that. And that's kind of where I stand on it. I just don't understand how people can do something for such a good cause for life, yet be so daggone evil and mean-spirited about it. And I'm not just talking about people marching in front of abortion clinics. I'm talking about on social media.
Oh, absolutely.
Who do we know? And who is in our sanctuary that may have done that?
That's exactly right. There are people sitting in your church, men and women, women who have had abortions, and men who have either taken their partner to have one or been there. And yes,
I've never been trapped. I've never been victimized. My life has never been in danger, and my children's lives in utero have never been in danger. So I've never had to make such a tough decision. So far be it from me to blast somebody that could be sitting right next to me in church.
Right. And I think the thing that people need to realize is sin is sin. Me not tithing or cheating or lying, God looks at that the same as someone who had an abortion. I know that's hard to wrap our minds around in, the earthly realm of things, but our job is not to judge. Our job is to forgive and love and help restore.
Yes.
And because there is such shame and hate put on that, I think a lot of times, like you said, there are people that are sitting out there who have done that and don't know how to heal from it because of what they're afraid someone will say.
absolutely. Absolutely. And we cannot say we are Christ followers if we are saying God hates you if you've had an abortion. That is not true.
Right.
That is not true. God loves you if you have had an abortion.
Right.
He loves you if you have chosen life for your child. He loves you if you have let your child be adopted. He loves each of us right where we are.
Yes.
And I like that you said that if you've had an abortion, come to me.
Yeah.
Come to me.
It's not okay that you had an abortion, but it's also not okay that I have gossiped against my neighbor.
Exactly.
It's not okay that somebody had an abortion but I can give you a laundry list of things that I've done in my
That's
lifetime
exactly
that
right.
is not okay.
That's right.
And I would want you to understand and still love me anyway. And,
That's right.
And find that, yes, I did these things on this hand, but I've done a whole lot of good on this
Yeah.
side. And there's still a whole lot of good for that person to do. And one is to be there for somebody else who needs.
That's right.
You know.
God can redeem
Yes.
any story.
Right.
Any
That's right.
story. Just because, I used to think, oh, I don't really have a testimony because I've been in church all my life. I have loved God all my life. But you know what? I was lost and then I was found. I do have a testimony. I have a testimony that I serve a great God and I can share that. But so can these women who have made these tragic choices for reasons that we cannot understand. And I am not gonna judge that.
Right.
Right.
And one thing quickly I just will say to end things is, I'm looking to do a certain procedure here in a couple months, but I actually have to see a psychiatrist, a nutritionist, and a doctor 6 times before they will allow me. And this is something that will help my health. And so I just wish that we would do the same for ladies who are thinking about this.
Amen.
That we would just, give them an opportunity to see what it will cause, what the after effects of it are.
Right.
And I think that would be just a big help that we would
Absolutely.
that we would do that. So I know we just hit the beginning parts of this and we'll probably take another day to talk about it, but I hope you can see that you are loved and that we are willing to help you if at all possible.
Made by Vogel is a father and son business that produces high-quality handmade wooden products such as cutting boards, bowls, bottle stoppers, and more. Products for sale can be found on their Etsy site or in downtown Altoona at the Clay Cup. You can't go wrong buying from Made by Vogel.
This segment is brought to you by Harry's Construction, whose motto is, "If you can dream it, we can create it." They are the kitchen and bath design experts, so call Harry's Construction for all your remodeling needs.
Welcome back. I know today has been some tough questions that we've been discussing, but I think we have someone here that maybe will help us understand a little bit more. And we have Cindy Mansberger with us. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Before we get into your program and what you do, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I live in Huntington, actually,
Oh.
and I'm the executive director of Crossroads Pregnancy Center.
Right.
And our ministry has been active for the last 37 years.
Wow.
But this year is the first we've had an office in Altoona. So we just opened that at the end of September, and we're seeing clients, and we're just feeling really blessed to be here because we know there's a need.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, what is Crossroads Pregnancy Center?
Crossroads Pregnancy Center is a pregnancy resource center. We are a faith-based ministry reaching out to mostly women in unplanned pregnancies. But we have a lot of programs there. We have our medical services that we provide. So we have a medical director. We have trained RNs that will do ultrasounds for confirmation of pregnancy. And we have STD testing and treatment. We have what we call our Bridges program, which is an Earn While You Learn program. So when they choose life, they can come in and take classes with us from anything from parenting to life skills and relationships.
Wow.
And they can exchange points for cribs and car seats and high chairs and diapers
I love
and
that.
clothes. and-
I know, I love it.
yeah, there's so many things that they can earn. We've got quite the list now. So that's nice. And their partners can come as well. So we also meet with fathers, the new dads that come in. We get women that have had abortions in the past. And so we provide Bible studies for that so they can receive healing and forgiveness. We have just a men's program too, where we have just one-on-one with male client advocates that are trained to meet with them. We have also something else called Reaching Destinations, which is a division of Crossroads, and that is our sexual risk avoidance program that goes into public schools and youth groups. Just teaching about, making a plan for your future, healthy relationships, different things like that.
That's terrific.
It is.
So,
it really is.
yeah, there's quite a bit. We do actual Bible studies with clients. In fact, we had, in the last 3 weeks, 2 of our clients that have been coming for Bible studies just accepted Jesus.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing.
So we're really, praise God.
Yes.
I like that you have something for men.
Yeah.
There's a
gonna say.
forgotten piece of this whole thing.
Yes.
They were
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah.
Right. They're part of the family,
They're
right?
part of it, and
Yeah.
they kind of get forgotten about.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that the woman bears the greater burden to an extent, and rightfully so. But I loved, because I studied what you guys do, because I was supposed to interview you for something else.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't get to.
Okay.
But I was just so fixed on that you actually ministered to the fathers,
Yeah.
and that is
It's
so
really important.
yeah.
It is important because there's a lot of families nowadays where the father is absent. And we all know it's so important. And so if they're willing to come with their partners, hey, we want to meet them however we can. So,
It's amazing.
yeah.
And I also like that you you offer accountability. I started to say you force accountability, but that's not true. Where they can take a class to earn points
Yeah.
to get something.
Yeah.
It's yes.
Yeah.
It's not just a handout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I've been here a long time. So early on when we used to just give out the cribs, they would come back and say, can I sweep the floor or something, to kind of feel like they've earned that thing. So this has just been a beautiful way to do this. It makes them feel good about themselves, and they're learning. So yeah, it's been a win-win. Now we call it bridges because it builds a bridge of relationship
Absolutely.
with them. And so we know that Jesus went and he took care of their needs, and then he could talk about the deeper things.
Yeah.
So that's what happens in our office. And they know right away when they come in that we are Christians, but you have to earn the right to talk about those things. So it's been very good for that.
Right. Building
No.
relationships.
What would you say is the biggest reason why a woman would choose to abort a baby? And is there any circumstance that you would advocate that they would? Would there be like a medical issue or,
Yeah.
I'm trying to wrap my brain around it
Sure.
as a mom
Yeah.
and now a grandma of
It's
what
hard to
leads-
imagine why
Yeah,
a woman would
yeah.
do that. I will tell you that every woman has her own unique reasoning, but I can tell you this, that every woman I've ever met that is considering that feels like she's trapped, feels like she has no choice, feels like her situation is impossible, right? So and I don't want to go into all the reasons that could be because you can imagine in your own mind.
Sure.
So one of the main things that we do is listen. Okay, we use a training program called the LOVE approach, which is an acronym for listen and learn, open options, vision and value, extend and enable. And so the first thing you have to do is listen to her. Listen to her situation, because how else will you know how to respond to her
Right.
if you don't know where she's coming from? And so instilling that hope and that support and that caring can really make a difference. The ultrasound, if she hasn't had an ultrasound yet and had that confirmation of pregnancy, again, seeing the baby in the womb can make a difference. But those two really go hand in hand. I don't know that one or the other is as successful as both of them together. So just being able to give some hope is the main bottom line of that, and being there for her because she feels like she has nowhere to go.
How are you able to offer medical services?
Well, we started our medical services about 9 years ago. And so we went through a special training through the National Institute of Family Life Advocates and through Heartbeat International, which are 2 organizations that we're affiliated with. We had quite a bit to learn and policies to put in place and those kind of things. And then we had to find a medical director.
Okay.
So currently our medical director is Dr. Deborah Pike here at UPMC. And then we brought on nurses who were actually trained to do those limited ultrasounds for confirmation of pregnancy. And they continue to do continued learning to keep their skills up. This year we've done, I think she just told me that yesterday we hit our 100th ultrasound for the year. So that's more than double than we did the year before.
Wow.
So this
Just
is
here in
good.
Altoona?
No, this would be all of our
okay.
offices, yeah. So, but our very first client here in Altoona was an ultrasound. So, and this is why we felt that we needed to bring this here, because we were getting calls from people in the Altoona area, from abortion-minded women who needed that ultrasound. And so we knew that we needed to bring it here because we have to go where they are.
So are they not going to doctor's appointments? Is that the thing, or?
Here's the thing, when they call us, they don't know yet for sure sometimes if they're pregnant.
Oh, okay.
So everything we do is free and confidential.
Okay.
So it's very easy for them to just make an appointment with us. They know it's confidential. You know, they know that it's free, and it's somebody out of their situation that they can talk to too. You know,
A third party.
yeah. Now we always refer, you know, for the prenatal care. We give out prenatal vitamins, but we don't go beyond that confirmation of pregnancy. So we make sure that we've connected with the different doctor's offices over here. We want them to know so that we can refer back and forth.
So you just opened in Altoona not that long ago.
Yeah, the end of September.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think it's great to have that here now in our area. For people who don't know, you know, we're right here now in Altoona.
Yeah.
And if someone ever wanted to volunteer or help, is that an option?
Absolutely, absolutely. Probably for a lot of your viewers, they would want to go to our website that's cpcforlife.org.
And we'll make sure we'll put that up on the screen for you.
Okay, that's great. Because that's the website that we have for, you know, the Christian community, people that support us. And there are the different ways that you can volunteer on there. There's many ways, and yes, please, you know, or call us. You know, our numbers are on there, and check it out. If you want to look at the website that we have for our clients, because we have a different conversation with them, it's crossroadspcs.org.
Okay.
But yeah, you could call the Altoona office, you know, any of our numbers, and we could talk to you about different
Where are
ways
you
to
located
volunteer.
in Altoona?
212 Frankstown Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
And
yeah,
so
and
you
we're
use-
welcome to come by and see it too.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And use these volunteers. Is there any financial way that they could help?
Yes, definitely. You know, we serve now 4 counties, so each community pretty much supports that center. So we are looking for people that, if the Lord is leading you to give, you know, we have something called Defenders of Life, which is our monthly givers. They get really plugged in with information of what's happening, you know, day to day. A one-time donation. We'd like to talk to some mission boards and see if, you know, there's a way we can fit in there. But as the Lord leads, I know He'll provide.
Yes, He will.
yeah.
Absolutely. You know, it's a hard topic.
It is.
It
It's a heavy
absolutely
heart.
is.
It's heavy, but it's important that we do talk
Yes.
about it.
Yes,
And
because if the church is not talking about it, then we're failing these women
Yes, absolutely.
and men.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, this is an arm of the church.
Right.
You know, we're where they are. We're on the front lines of that. And it's been difficult lately because of, you know, everything that's happened since Dobbs, and there's been a lot of pregnancy centers that have been vandalized and,
Wow.
and those kind of things. In fact, we're adding some security just to be sure, you know, to keep the clients and my staff safe. And as we know, our state leans toward, you know, allowing abortions to happen, and there's been some more abortion clinics opening up in our state. So Dobbs happened, which, you know, we're really happy about that, but our work really begins now, because now is when we've got to be there for those
You're right.
women.
Thank you so much for joining us and telling us a little bit about this place. You know, it's our job, ladies and men, to be advocates for the voices that can't speak. So I hope that you will look into this and help any way that you can. When we come back, we'll have your tip.
Let's Talk About It is a Joy in the City production.
Joy in the City is a program highlighting people and organizations having an impact in our city. All too often, we hear about the problems and dysfunction in our culture, but we are coming with a different approach as we take a look at the good things going on right here in our community. Be sure to join us Sunday at 12:30 p.m. on ABC 23.
Today's tip is, well, because in recent years, I've been needing to live this out more and more. The tip is to be an advocate for yourself when it comes to your health and what doctors may be telling you. I'm not saying don't use doctors to help you, but I am saying that we need to be informed and maybe even spend some time looking into things that we are being told about ourselves. And here's why I say this. 1, I've had a few times where I knew my doctors just simply wanted to keep me on medicine. They would prescribe medicines without letting me know what else I could possibly try. Oh, you have high blood pressure. Take this medicine. You have diabetes. Take this. You have high cholesterol. Take this, and so on and so on. Now again, understand there are times that we do need to be on that medicine, especially if we aren't willing to do anything different or nothing has worked for us. I've had a heart doctor who wanted to put me on cholesterol medicine, but then I did some research about it and felt my numbers were in the right range and I didn't like what this medicine could do to me long term. And just a few months later, my personal care physician learned that I wasn't taking it, saw my numbers, and was shocked at how good my numbers were and agreed it was something that I did not need to take. In this instance, I didn't change anything, but felt that I needed to wait a while to see if my numbers did get worse, which actually the opposite happened. Then there was another time when I had a nutritionist tell me that as a diabetic, I needed to be eating around 150 carbs a day. Well, this totally shocked me. Why would she tell me this? If I did that, I would never be able to get off my diabetic medicine. And I have to believe she knew that, right? If you do some research yourself, you will see that some things just don't seem to line up. Thankfully, though, I have also had some good doctors that I do trust in what they're telling me. I'm looking into something a few months down the road, and I would really appreciate when my doctors are honest with me. And one doctor said, you need to make sure that your mind is in alignment with it, or it's just not going to work for you. And I could totally agree with that. One last thing I noticed is they will not recommend supplements, probably because they make nothing off of it. But I encourage you to look into supplements that may help you reverse some things or heal some things in your body. A few that I highly suggest are vitamin D3. I even once had a nurse ask me, how's your vitamin D so very good? Well, that's because I take a supplement, since there's no way to get enough during these colder months. A few others would be zinc, ashwagandha, magnesium, and a good multivitamin, and then maybe a probiotic. I also take one that helps me lower my numbers with diabetes. I'd love to know which ones you may take and feel have helped you. Always make sure when purchasing these that it's from a reputable company, because not all vitamins are the same. And the last thing I'll say is get to know your body. Understand the things that you are feeling, and if something seems off about it, maybe go ask about it. You know yourself better than anyone else, so start being an advocate for you. But also be willing to listen to advice, to seek help when needed. God has given us doctors, and He's given them wisdom. But we must do our part, and I encourage you to always be part of the process. Have a great day.